Growing up as the son of a fighter, Tuivasa always loved to compete. A natural athlete, Tai grew up playing rugby and eventually was signed by the Sydney Roosters in the NRL. It was a game he loved as a child, but the seriousness of professional football saw his focus waver as he fell in and out of love with the sport, eventually leaving the game altogether. Weighing 299 pounds as a teenager, Tuivasa needed a physical outlet to keep his weight down, which led to him finding MMA and meeting his mentor, UFC legend Mark Hunt. Shortly after his 19th birthday, Tuivasa made his MMA debut. Despite weighing the heavyweight limit, Tuivasa moved like a middleweight, and after 4 first-round KOs, Mark Hunt suggested Tai try his hands at boxing. Winning his debut in 2013, he would compete in 2 tournaments, and after losing both finals, he would retire from boxing with a record of 5-2. With his natural speed and power, Tuivasa would take inspiration from Mark, dipping his toes into kickboxing where he could stay more active. Retiring with a record of 14-2, returning to MMA after years away from the sport. After a 44-second knockout in his return, an undefeated Tuivasa signed with Australian Fighting Championship to compete for their heavyweight title. A right hand and an elbow was all it took as Tuivasa won the fight in 21 seconds, earning the nickname Bam Bam. He would defend his belt against former UFC heavyweight James McSweeney, who was a seasoned MMA and kickboxing veteran. After a back-and-forth first round, McSweeney was forced to withdraw due to issues with his eyesight. However, between his 7 first-round finishes and his association with Mark Hunt, major MMA promotions looked to sign the young Aussie, who would reject Bellator and One Championship to sign with the UFC. The following year, the UFC came to his hometown of Sydney, where Tuivasa would make his debut against Rashad Couture, who had just lost his first fight in the UFC. As the fight went on, Tai started to find his shots before showing his athleticism with a flying knee that flattened Couture. After another first-round finish against Cyril Asker, Tuivasa had become a star in Australia. And after defeating Andrei Arlovski by decision, the UFC offered him a chance to bolster his career. A main event against UFC legend Junior Dos Santos in Australia. After teammates Tyson Pedro and Mark Hunt both lost earlier in the night, the pressure was on Tuivasa to perform. Tai showed he belonged at the top, but JDS found his opening, finishing Tuivasa on the ground and sending Tai's career sideways. Tuivasa's success came from his bloodline. The Samoan people have true warrior spirit, and the Indigenous Australians, superb athleticism. But his issues of self-discipline and a half-hearted attitude towards training had finally caught up with him. If he was going to reach his potential in the sport, he was going to have to take things more seriously. As the world moved into lockdown in early 2020, Tuivasa was on a 3-fight losing streak. Tai knew he could be fighting for his spot in the UFC. Struggling to find a camp that suited his style, he brought a team to the UAE and has been training out of Dubai since the pandemic began. As he walked out against Stefan Struve, he knew he had to make a statement. With a second to go in the first round, Tuivasa found Struve's chin, crumpling the skyscraper. His next 2 fights would hardly make it out of the first 60 seconds, as he walked through Harry Hunsucker and gave Greg Hardy a much-deserved smack in the jaw. After 4 impressive wins in his start to the UFC, Augusto Sakai was on a 2-fight losing streak when he faced Bam Bam. Tuivasa looked to cap out a successful 2021 with a number against his name if he could get through the number 11 ranked Brazilian. Tuivasa exploited Sakai's patience, landing some big shots at the close of the first. After hurting Sakai early, Tai emptied the tank, slumping Sakai against the cage. Bringing the Shoey to the world stage, Tuivasa's growing fan base and impressive knockout streak have earned him a shot against knockout legend Derick Lewis. With both men loving a scrap with cannons from the shoulders down, it's a fight that everyone in the MMA world is looking forward to. At only 28 years old, Tuivasa has a wealth of experience at the top level in the UFC. In the UFC Countdown, Tai talked about how he'd turned himself from a brawler into a professional. The results in the cage have shown, and today he is deservedly one of the biggest stars in the heavyweight division. Let me know who you have winning this weekend down below. It's a big week for Australia, so we'll see what happens. Thank you for watching, thank you for the love, and I will see you soon. Peace.
One more. What'd you make of when, after Derick's last win, he threw his cup into the crowd and apparently someone caught it to do a shoey?
Well, he can throw it to me when I win, and I'll do a cuppy out of his out of his ball guard then. I'm keen.